Yeah, so we originally had our reservations booked from San Francisco to Kolkata via Delhi by Air India on 14th of July, that was Thursday evening, and the San Francisco to Delhi flight was supposed to depart from San Francisco at 10 in the night. So around five, and we hadn't got any notifications of any flight change, but 5 days back we were just randomly checking the ticket status and found out that our flight had been rescheduled. We had to call up the call center to understand that the flight had been rescheduled from departing from San Francisco at 10 p.m. in the night to departing from San Francisco from 10:30 a.m. in the morning. So this caused really some troubles for us because we had already booked our flight to go to San Francisco from Seattle on 14th morning. But because now the new flight was departing from San Francisco at 10:30 a.m. in the morning, we couldn't really afford to travel in the same flight, the morning flight. So we had to rebook our tickets the prior day, that was Wednesday evening, and assuming some sort of safety buffer, we had booked our ticket at 5:45 p.m. through Alaska Airlines. And just for like we had to also rebook our hotels because we didn't have any hotels booked in San Francisco for 13th night. So we had to spend significant amount of money in the rebooking. Now, when we reached the Seattle airport for boarding the flight to San Francisco, that is 5:45 p.m. on Wednesday, 13th of July, just 10-15 minutes before the boarding time, we got to know that our flight had been cancelled due to crew shortage. So currently in the US, there has been a lot of crew shortage happening all over the airports across airlines, and yeah, we were just unlucky, that we had to face this issue. And now after and there are a lot of passengers, that had to be rescheduled, and the Alaska Airlines rescheduled our flight to another Alaska Airlines that is supposed to travel at 9 o'clock in the night from Seattle and would be reaching San Francisco at 11:30 in the night. Well, all good. We are all prepared to board that flight, and we did board the flight, but they stopped the boarding or paused the boarding after boarding around like 30-50 passengers due to a maintenance issue. We were sitting in the plane, inside the plane, for around an hour, and we found out that because they couldn't really solve the maintenance issue, they had to cancel that flight. And it was a really shock for us because there aren't any night flights from Seattle to San Francisco, so therefore we couldn't really go and travel to San Francisco in the night. We did go on a really long line, had to wait for half an hour to 40 minutes talking to the customer service center within the Seattle airport, and they told us the earliest that they can book us was 9 a.m. the next morning, but that meant that we would anyways miss our India flight. So yeah, there were no other options. So basically, we had to return back home and had to spend thousands of dollars rebooking our India trip and Seattle to San Francisco with all the hotel bookings for 2 weeks after that. So essentially, we lost around like $3,000 to $4,000 in all those rebooking. Of course, we got some refunds from the Alaska Airlines, refunding our previous amount. They also provided us some discount for future bookings. But overall, this was a really bad experience for us. Just not about the money spent in rebookings, but also about the mental peace that we had to. That was really troublesome for us. Yeah, that's all.